Hi, Joe here from Way Scarff Ford. Today we're going to talk about this 2024 Tesla Model Y. Let's dive in. So much to talk about on these Teslas. Sometimes my videos run 15, 20 minutes just because these Teslas are so different than pretty much any other car on the road. It might have four wheels and four doors and a liftgate and a hood like most other cars, but the similarities pretty much stop there. This is like a smartphone. Or I'll even go better than that. This is like a supercomputer on wheels. This is not your typical internal combustion powered vehicle. This is technology. Tesla manufactures cars, but they are also a tech company. Most auto manufacturers are not tech companies, they're manufacturers, they assemble stuff. Tesla assembles stuff, they're a vertically integrated company. They actually make far more of their mechanical components to their vehicles than a lot of other automotive manufacturers. A lot of other auto manufacturers, they basically just put the cars together in their factory. They might make the engine, they might stamp the body panels, but a lot of the other components, the screens, the switches, even the seats are made by other companies, and then they just bring them to the factory and they cobble them all together. So Tesla is, because they're a vertically integrated company, they write their own firmware, they make their own media control unit, they even manufacture their own seats. They're one of the only companies that manufactures their own seats, and their seats are very, very comfortable, by the way. So generally, with Teslas, there's a synergy about the vehicles. Everything just connects with each other. The smartphone app connects to the vehicle in ways that I've never seen in any other vehicle. They have just a synergy about them that few other manufacturers can simulate just because of the way Tesla is designed from the ground up as a manufacturer, as a tech company as well. The Model Y kind of has simplistic, minimalist styling. The wedge shape has grown on me. The Tesla has been redesigned for the 2026 model year, looking completely different than, well, looking a little bit different. Some people like the way this generation Model Y looks. Some people like the new one a little bit better. The new one has kind of like a Cybertruck front end with a big light bar down the middle. This one's a little bit more muted as far as styling goes. No engine up here. You have additional storage as a frunk. And since you don't have a big engine with an aluminum or cast iron block that could get pushed inside the passenger compartment in front of collisions, this makes the Tesla that much safer. You have a crumple zone that's 60% larger than an internal combustion engine powered vehicle, so you have all that space to absorb crash energy in a frontal collision. In fact, the Tesla Model Y is one of the safest crossover SUVs you can buy, one of the lowest rollover risks, pretty much high scores across the bar. It's because of its passive and its active safety features that make it safe. The way it's constructed makes it safe, but then you have its other safety features like forward emergency braking, the Autopilot, the full self-driving, are all features that will make this vehicle safer. You know, some people get scared by Autopilot, or even more scared by full self-driving. Oh, I can't have the car drive for me. Well, statistically speaking, there's enough people driving these things right now that actually, when a Tesla's operating under Autopilot or even full self-driving, the accident rate is significantly lower than human drivers. The weight of the battery also makes it safe. You have all this weight. The majority of the weight of the vehicle is basically like a foot off the ground, so it's like an anchor keeping this thing planted to the ground. They do rollover tests of these Ys, and they're very, very hard to roll over. And if they do happen to get on the roof, most of the time the weight of the battery is just going to flop it back in the wheels. But having a lower over risk is really important for making a vehicle safe, because when a vehicle rolls over, that greatly increases your chances of severe bodily injury or worse. So mitigating a rollover risk is one amazing thing you can do to make your vehicle very safe, and obviously Tesla does that. We have lots of space back here because the way the Model Y is designed, since it doesn't have an internal combustion engine, drive shafts, exhaust systems, gas tanks, all that stuff, it's not handcuffed by the typical design of an internal combustion engine powered vehicle. So you have more interior space in the Model Y than a comparable size, gas powered crossover SUV. You can fold down the rear seats, and it is amazing how much cargo space it has. And it even has a camp mode, so it allows you to watch the infotainment system, use the heater to heat the vehicle, while also keeping other systems off, so it's not draining the battery. Obviously you don't need the power steering on or the brakes primed or anything like that while you're sitting there camping. So camp mode works fantastic. You can get a lot of mileage out of it. People camp in their Model Ys all the time. So if you like to do that, road trips, camping, things like that, the Model Y is the way to go. Lots of space back here. We have this recessed area, kind of hard to see, it's a little bit dark, but you have these on both sides. Then on top of that, we have a sub trunk right here, since there's no gas tank or exhaust system, and this is pretty deep. I could almost fit in there if I curled up in a ball. It's pretty big. And then you have another little storage spot under here. With the frunk, the storage back here, it is just amazing how much storage space you have in these Ys. People get blown away. So there are a couple different configurations on the Model Y. You can get it with a standard range battery that has about like a 260-mile range. This is a long range battery, so it has a fully charged range of over 300 miles. You can also get them in either single motor, which is rear wheel drive. This is dual motor, so it has a motor in the front, motor in the back, making it all wheel drive, but it's also like having two engines. This thing's actually really quick. 0 to 60 is right around 5 seconds. And if you want to even go faster, you can do a software update and get the acceleration boost. It's a $2,000 in-app purchase. And basically you get an update to your vehicle, boom, you have another 100 horsepower. And that almost knocks a second off the 0 to 60. Gets you pretty close to what you get for 0 to 60 in the Model Y Performance. This has a nice premium white interior. We have a big glass roof panel allowing lots of natural ambient lighting. You can also get sunshades to put in place in the summer. I have one for my Tesla Model 3 and just take it out in the wintertime. Having more ambient light, this glass roof panel is really nice. And just driving around, my kids love it, looking at the trees and the sky. I'm 6'2", I'm not the smallest person in the world, and look how much space I have back here. Look how much headroom I have. How much legroom. This just goes back to Tesla, just having so much interior space just because of the way they're constructed. Again, we're not hamstrung by the conventional construction of an internal combustion engine vehicle, so you just have that much more interior space. And this is a place where usually my videos take the longest because we have this screen. And it might look like it's flickering, but that's just a GoPro camera. Let's see if we can make it a little bit brighter for you. So we can see there's really no buttons or knobs anywhere. There's a few little buttons here on the steering wheel, but it's devoid of buttons. And people are like, oh man, I can't take Teslas. I don't want to have to go through the screen to do everything. Well, you don't have to, because there's 140 different voice commands. You can hit this button right here and be like, windshield wipers on 1. Wipers off. Make it warmer. Make it cooler. Rear defroster on. Open butthole. Close butthole. You gotta admire Tesla for having a sense of humor. But yeah, you don't need to mess through the screen while you're driving. There's 140 different voice commands. So all those people saying you have to do that, I just proved them wrong. You know, I read a lot of car magazine reviews of Teslas. I read a lot of disinformation about Teslas, and a lot of stuff that you hear for reasons why Teslas are bad or you shouldn't buy a Tesla. Usually it's incorrect. You know, there are some shortcomings to owning an EV. I'm just keeping it real, but there aren't too many. You know, for most people, EVs make a lot of sense as a commuting vehicle. You have a lot lower maintenance costs. Brakes pretty much last the lifetime of the vehicle because you have regenerative braking, so you use the electric motors to slow the vehicle down, not the actual brakes. Brakes are a pretty big maintenance item. There's no oil changes, no spark plugs, no complex coolant systems, coolant flushes, no big 30, 60, 90K services. That's like owning an appliance. You plug it in at night and charge it. You might put a new cabin filter in, new wiper blades. You're gonna have to replace tires, and if you don't behave yourself with all that power and electric torque, you can go through tires pretty fast. Just put it in chill mode and then you'll be fine. A lot less maintenance. So this is pretty much on par with the features and performance to like a BMW X3, Lexus NX series, Mercedes-Benz GLC. That's what you would compare the Tesla. These are about, $50,000 brand new. So this is not Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 territory, luxury car territory, but you have the ownership costs of like a Honda Civic. It's one of the lowest ownership cost vehicles to own. And on top of that, you're gonna save money because we have some of the cheapest electricity in the country thanks to us in the Pacific Northwest getting the majority of our energy from hydroelectric. For gas, we have some of the highest gas taxes in the country. We 4 or 5 $8 a gallon for regular. Well, a lot of people in the rest of the country are getting gas for $3 and under. But even more so, we can benefit from EVs. We have this big screen for the infotainment system. With premium connectivity, you get these live Google Maps that give you traffic updates. Fantastic. You can also put it in regular mode. You do need to add paid charging for supercharging, but you can use this button right here. Once you get your set up with supercharging, there's superchargers all over the place. You can pretty much drive anywhere in the country and you'll be able to find charging. You just use Tesla's trip planner. You put in where you want to go, and if you don't have enough range to get there, the car will automatically route you to a charger, and it won't make you charge for an hour. Like the other day, I went up to Seattle with my wife, and we didn't have enough energy. We didn't have enough charge in the battery to make it back home, so it routed us to a supercharger, and it only had us charge for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes it says you can keep on charging, but you have enough energy to make it home, and when I get home I can just plug it in, and you get a full charge overnight. Your house is the gas station. It's like having an electric toothbrush. When you're done with it, you put it on its charger and it's fully charged the next time you're ready to use it. That's the way it works with EVs. I have 3 cars and 2 of them are EVs. I've owned a Tesla for about 3 years. I recently bought an inexpensive Nissan Leaf. I wish I could afford another Tesla, but you can find Nissan Leafs for right around $10,000, and they're actually really good vehicles in the pre-owned market for what you get. They're not comparable to a Tesla in a lot of ways. But there are a lot of great EVs out there, and for a lot of people, they make great little commuter vehicles. And most people don't drive more than 100 miles a day. This has a fully charged range of over 300 miles, but most people aren't going to even come close to that. And then when you need to charge, you have the amazing Tesla supercharging network, which is second to none. The climate control system is really easy to use, and this one has a little trick. This has biodefense mode. So right now what it's doing, it's pressurizing the cabin. So the only way that air can come inside the cabin is through the front air vent, where it's going to be put through, I'll shut this off now. It's going to get put through a giant HEPA filter. And this HEPA filter is big. I mean, it's like the size, it's bigger than the HEPA filter. It's bigger than the filter in my home furnace. It's like 10 times bigger than the next biggest HEPA filter in a car. And it's not a gimmick. It can filter out, harmful allergens, particulates in the air. They actually did a test where they had harmful air. They had it in a big plastic bubble, a Model X, and they had people with breathing masks on, air meters to monitor the air quality, and the air was really harmful. If you weren't wearing the breathing apparatus during this test, you might die or get severely hurt. They put on the biodefense mode, and it cleaned the air inside the vehicle. It was safe enough for the people to remove their masks. But it worked so good, it actually started cleaning the air outside the vehicle. This thing is bonkers. There are people that have really used this, like in forest fires. We have that dirty, nasty, sooty air. These systems will filter it out. If you have hay fever, bad, allergies with pollen and stuff like that, it'll filter it out. And it just doesn't clean the air that's coming inside the vehicle, also continue to circulate the air inside the cabin through the filter, cleaning that as well. The infotainment system has all sorts of cool stuff. You have a theater package. You can't do this while you're driving, but great to pass time when you're supercharging, or maybe you're waiting for your spouse or someone, shopping, you're waiting in the car. You can play games. You have the toy box where you can do a light show. I think we're ready for some new holiday updates, but it might need to get updated on this one. Every Christmas, they tend to push out holiday updates. You have the silly whoopee cushion. You have the colorizer, so if you decide to wrap your car, you can actually have your car's avatar match your wrap. Pretty cool stuff. There's a multi-track recorder, so you can cut an album. And obviously that is pretty terrible, but if you put a little more time into it than just standing random buttons like I did, you can see that you can make some pretty cool stuff, but you kind of get the idea. You have romance mode. I did this one time with my wife. We, after having dinner, we had a babysitter. I'm like, we have more time, so we just sat by the water and put this on. And you actually even feel warm air coming through the vents. You hear that crackle of the fireplace. Oh man, that's really, we're really getting in the mood territory. I better shut that off so my video doesn't get demonetized. I love you, Marvin Gaye. So we have Autopilot, which is amazing at traffic-aware cruise control. It allows the vehicle to brake, accelerate, and steer in its own lane. I kind of call it like full self-driving light, where a lot of ADAS systems like this only let you use them on the highway. Basically, on any road with lane markings, you can be on a 2-lane, country road. It will follow the curves and stuff like that. It's not going to take sharp hairpin corners, but the Autopilot will flow. You can get a lot of mileage out of Autopilot. It's not going to stop for red lights. It will warn you. It's not going to stop for pedestrians, but if there's a car in front of you and it stops, it will stop, come to a complete stop, and once the car goes, it will go again. A lot of other ADAS systems, when it comes to a complete stop, you have to like re-engage it. Once you have Autopilot on, until you shut it off, it's just going to keep on going. But then you can also try full self-driving. This does not come with full self-driving. If you want it, it could be different in the future, but this is as of December 2025. Full self-driving, $99 a month or $8,000. That might seem a lot to you, but basically that gives you your own personal chauffeur. And it's amazing. This has the hardware 4 on it as well. So this is a more advanced full self-driving computer. My Tesla's older, it has a full self-driving computer 3. So this has a much more advanced full self-driving computer, processor, and it has higher resolution cameras. This has cameras all the way around it. And on top of that, with all these cameras, you have dash cams, you have a Sentry cam, so while the vehicle is parked, you can pull up cameras on your phone and check out what's going on. You can look inside the vehicle. You have dog mode, so you can check inside your pooch. It will keep the vehicle climate controlled to a comfortable temperature for your dog. If any accidents happen, you get in an accident, everything's gonna be recorded. You have a 360 dash cam that's constantly recording into a hard drive, so you can pull up anything. You see some weird person, riding a unicycle down the street, juggling, you can save it and pull it up and post it on social media. I mean, it is, this is amazing. There's no other car that has a camera system like this. But let's go back to the full self-driving. See, this is why I can go on for 20 minutes about these cars. So the full self-driving is amazing. Even though my self-driving computer is older, I've been using it for 3 years and it comes a long way. Tesla's constantly updating. There's another update right now to download. Tesla's constantly updating this system. It's got billions of miles of data. Most of my commute these days is hands-free. It's about 10 miles. I tell it, take me home. I have my hand here or on my lap. The car's driving the whole time. I hardly ever have to touch the steering wheel. It will merge past people on the highway. You can put it in Harry mode or Mad Max mode and it will aggressively pass people, go over the speed limit. You have to be careful. If you don't want to get a ticket, don't put it in Mad Max mode. But if you want to push the envelope, Mad Max mode, if you're in a hurry, it'll get you there faster. It is amazing what these things can do. It can self-park. It can pull out of your garage. It can pick you up at the entrance of Costco. With the summon mode, it can't drive by itself yet. I think eventually it will. Not guaranteed, but I think it's going to happen. But right now it can drive itself in parking lots and pick you up at the front if you're close enough to the vehicle with your app. And all it requires you to do at this point is just stare out the window. It wants you to pay attention. There's a camera here monitoring things, so if you start spacing out, you look at the screen, you look at the phone, you start daydreaming and staring at the cows in the fields, it's gonna yell at you and say, pay attention, it's gonna shut the system off. But all it requires you to do is stare out the window, and as long as you stare out the window, it will drive itself. There are people that are driving 1,000 miles with this full self-driving, never having to touch the steering wheel. That's how good it's getting. And it's gonna take a lot of, basically they call it the March of Nines. So to get to the point where it's not gonna require human intervention, it needs to work perfectly 99.9999999% of the time. There's no margin for error. Even though statistically it's safer than a human, we cannot tolerate a driverless car, hitting someone or causing injury or worse. So they're gonna make sure these have these systems perfect. But this is my opinion. I think eventually it's gonna get to the point where these cars can drive themselves. It can drop you off at the front of the store and go park itself. It could drop your high school kid off at school and then come home without you having to drive. It could go and be an Uber for you while you're working or sleeping or doing whatnot while you're not using the vehicle, because most vehicles aren't used. 98% of the time, most cars are just sitting. We're not using them. So the other 98% of the time, it could be offsetting the cost of ownership by being an Ubering people around. I mean, Tesla's already doing robo-taxis without drivers in the driver's seat. They have safety drivers in this seat, but in Austin, offering robo-taxis, and they're not too different than what this is. You look at Waymos, they have hundreds of thousands of dollars of sensors and LiDAR. This does not use complex LiDAR, it just uses cameras, because we have 2 cameras and we can drive perfectly fine. So if it has, 6 cameras all the way around it, then it should be even better. It never gets distracted, it's never gonna look at its phone, it's not gonna fight with its spouse, it's not gonna spill coffee on itself, it's not gonna drink too much, smoke too much. So yeah, this full self-driving is pretty amazing stuff, and I think a lot of people just don't realize it, and people are like, I could never trust a car driving itself. Hey, what? You're gonna have to trust your 15 or 16-year-old when they're in their learner's permits to drive, and you're sitting there in that seat. Well, guess what? You're right here. If you're nervous about anything, remember, you're paying attention. If you're nervous about anything happens, just grab the wheel and take over. That's all you need to do. Boom. You go like that, it's shut off. You're in control now. So just think about the mental energy it takes just to keep your car centered on the lane, on the highway. Just for that workload to be taken off your shoulders makes a big difference. When it's dark and rainy, and I pride myself, I'm a really good driver. I like driving on beautiful country roads and stuff like that. I don't like driving in stop and go traffic or in torrential downpours at night, where you're kind of just struggling to see out the window, you're gripping the wheel. I put the full self-driving on, or for that matter, the Autopilot, and I can feel a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. The car is keeping it centered in the lane. I'm not struggling to see the lines and stuff. It can see it perfectly. So there we go. I'm almost at the 30-minute mark on this video. I'll have to edit it down. But yes, I'm Joe from Way Scarff Ford. That's my long-winded spiel about Teslas. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.